I'm going to take a different perspective. I've had the honor and privilege for almost 3 decades to be a part of transformation of our composites industry into a new market called construction and infrastructure. And I've seen a lot of innovation, and I've seen a lot of deployment of products, technologies, successes and failures. So we need to learn from that. One of the things that has been paramount during that time is continual education. And we're always going to need to educate the engineer. That is probably of the highest order, and we continue to do that today. I'll tell you, in the mid-90s, I had to describe what FRP means to a civil engineer. I don't have to do that anymore, so I think we've made some movement. But that movement has been good, and it's also been challenging because now they keep on raising the bar for composites. The thing that we have to keep in mind with the civil engineer, it's all about cost. They can appreciate the performance, but it's still about cost. And I remember doing a presentation in the late 90s, and at the bottom of my presentation, it's cost, cost, cost. So we have to keep that in mind. And that's been a challenge for our industry across the board. We're at a situation right now where engineers need tools to select, design, and specify composites to make it easier for them to deploy our products and our innovations. There's new issues that are arising that we have to keep in mind, and it's characterizing composites with sustainability. That's not anecdotal. That is based on science. That is based on numbers that people can rely on. And how that compares with traditional materials. And we come back to that the competition here is steel, aluminum, concrete, and wood. Oh, by the way, we like concrete because FRP makes concrete better. And a real good case in point is all of the work that I know my personal self has done, as well as many in our composites industry in the American Concrete Institute. So 1 month ago today, 1 month ago and maybe about a week ago, the FRP rebar code was published in the American Concrete Institute. This is a huge deal, and I've said this for the past 20 years, that is the holy grail for composites. Why? Everybody wants to know how to design composites, and we've done that. We've had 3 iterations of a design guideline. We have over 20 different standards that were developed over the past 20 years. Over the past 4 years, we were developing the FRP rebar code. That FRP rebar code is very much a model and mimics ACI 318, which is the concrete building code. So this building that is built today is built with the ACI 318 code. The FRP is exactly like that code, except we swap out steel and put in FRP. So now we have a reliable document that's been codified that civil engineers can go to and point to and start designing. So we're going to start seeing some major initiatives going forward. So it's interesting that it's coinciding with the IIJA. And what's even more impactful in all of this is that FRP rebar has also been introduced with not only with the rebar code and associated test methods into the International Building Code. And in a hearing 3 weeks ago, a public hearing, the building officials voted in favor of including as a provision in the 2024 International Building Code to include FRP rebar. So now we're going to see FRP rebar codified in buildings. So again, you're providing the tools for civil engineers to point to and specify to. The point was brought up with everyday counts, and it's been very, again, as a privilege to participate in 6 or 7 different regional meetings with the Everyday Counts program. And it was always nice to be included with steel, concrete, and composites. Of course, with steel and concrete, they didn't have to do too much education. With composites, I had to do a lot of education. But again, it's all about education. Our ACMA committees, specifically our Transportation Structures Council and our FRP Rebar Manufacturers Council, have dedicated the past 20 years to education, marketing, and standards development. It has taken a village, and I go back to the FRP Rebar Code because it wasn't all about composites. It wasn't all about the composites industry. It took the academics, the end users, the consultants, as well as our composites industry to deliver this. So we have to keep in mind that it takes a village to move a mountain. But we've been moving the mountains. Now we need to take advantage of all of the successes that are out there. And oh, by the way, there's probably nearly 1,000 bridges out there today that have FRP rebar, have either FRP rebar, decks, piling, or associated members on them. And it doesn't include the over 10,000 bridges out there that have composites to structurally strengthen them. Yet we still seem to be a forgotten material with the customer. So again, I go back to the competition is steel, aluminum, and wood, but we like concrete and we make concrete better.